What up, guys? My name is Jack. I am brand new to doing this, and the world definitely doesn't need another podcast or person live streaming talking about pro wrestling, but it's the only thing I want to do with my life, so let's give it a try. I think the whole point of me doing this, right, is to play video games and talk about pro wrestling, combine the two things that I love the most. This is welcome to my basement. You are definitely going to see my dog Gumbo in the background. If he's sleeping, you're going to hear him snoring because he's a French bulldog. You'll probably meet my Chihuahua Roo at some point. They are my co-hosts in this whole thing. But like I said, I don't think the world needs another Wrestle Talk podcast or YouTube stream or anything like that. But I thought I would give it a try, and I was going to do it after WrestleMania, right? My whole plan was to practice, and I would get on these and do these one-on-one things every once in a while, talk about my opinions on wrestling and what's going on, maybe do some live streaming. But I was going to practice and do this after WrestleMania, right? I mean, there's no better time to start than the pro wrestling reset of professional wrestling, right? But then John Cena turned heel and changed not only the WrestleMania plans, but changed my plans as well too. So I'm gonna give this a try. I've been waiting for John Cena to turn heel for a very long time, and I've been back and forth on my Cena opinions. I will be the first person to tell you that my Cena opinions were not right. Right, I booed John Cena and missed out on the best years of his life and his career. I shouldn't say life, probably his career. I've recently gone back and watched a lot of John Cena stuff, and just thought, wow, I felt very disappointed that I missed out on this, right? So I was excited for his retirement tour and being like, okay, babyface John Cena, smiling, waving, take your vitamins, eat your prayers, kiss a baby, shake hands, make wishes, things like that. I was excited. I was going to drink the John Cena Kool-Aid for the very first time. And then he turned heel, right? Then he obviously turned heel. I think it's a genius idea. I love it, right? I want to make the very real statement of I don't think in the time period of 2025, it is very hard to be an actual professional wrestling heel. Like, that's the facts, right? Like, I will give credit where credit is due, to people like MJF, to people like The Miz. I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm not CM Punk. I'm just saying that, like, they're two people that can garnish a lot of heat and a lot of really good heat. But let's face it, everybody laughs when we see videos of MJF signing autographs at wrestling events and giving kids the middle fingers, or signing autographs on pro wrestling action figures and then throwing them into the crowd and basically telling these fans to F off. We all love it. We all love drinking the Kool-Aid, but a true actual heel has been lost on the world of professional wrestling, because we, especially being a guy from Chicago, we love to cheer the bad guys and boo the good guys, right? I mean, I just said it with John Cena. I booed John Cena for no good reason for, I don't know, 2 decades, right? So, when I'm an Attitude Era guy, right? I'm an ECW and Attitude Era guy. So I love The Rock. I love Stone Cold Steve Austin, right? But the fact of the matter is this: is lately and in the last 2 years, Rock has come around and kind of screwed up plans for things that I've wanted to see or things that I was excited for, and I've gotten pissed. When Rock showed up at SmackDown and then the other SmackDown and then Elimination Chamber, even at the beginning of Elimination, or at the end of Elimination Chamber, at the beginning of him showing up, I'm like, oh, here's Dwayne. Because I want to make it clear, I'm a Rock fan. I'm not a Dwayne fan, right? But you get to this point where it's like, okay, well, here comes Rock coming in with his Hollywood attitude and, kind of pushing his way through and doing whatever he wants to do in his agenda, right? And the fact of the matter is, it pissed me off. It made me hate him, right? It made me hate an actual heel in pro wrestling, which is rare for me. You know, I've ruined wrestling in a lot of ways for myself because I'm not only just a purist, right? But I also, I love people's abilities, and I love when people are talented and awesome and exciting, regardless if I'm supposed to boo them or not. So it's been difficult for me for, decades since I've gotten smart to the business, right? But I hated The Rock. I hated when he came out, and when Cody told him to go F himself, I was like, cool, but where are we going? And then John Cena turns heel, right? And completely flips his whole retirement tour on his head. And I'm in the middle of hating The Rock, who is supposed to be a heel, right? So they did their job. Like, I'm not gonna complain about it anymore because now I'm a Rock fan again. Now I'm a Dwayne fan again, right? But I hate that, when the man comes around, to quote Johnny Cash, when the man comes around, things start to change in his way, in his favor. I do not like when Rock comes back and he just cuts a promo and just waves. And maybe this was his plan all along. I'm not a pro wrestling conspiracy theorist. I'm not saying that when Rock went like this in October, it automatically met John Cena. Maybe it did, right? With the way that Triple H books things, right? With the way Triple H books things about when he was beating up Cody and Stone Cold and John Cena was on the bus behind him, all these Wyatt family stuff behind people in backstage segments. Maybe this was a Triple H thing. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But congratulations. WWE just brought me back into being a pro wrestling fan and not a, smart mark, a Dave Meltzer smart mark. And I'm not trying to bash Dave Meltzer, but it's like, I read too much on the internet. I get that. And Triple H, The Rock, John Cena, all just brought me back to being a child, right? I couldn't believe it. I was at my buddy Joe's house and we were watching the show. And as soon as I had no idea, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I knew John Cena was turning heel. I'm not that way, right? I'm not that way. But as soon as John Cena went in for the hug, I said to myself, you son of a bitch, you got me, and that's my view about it, right? Like, think about it. It's the perfect thing, right? Maybe John Cena has already sold his soul to The Rock, and that's why John Cena. Sorry, you're gonna see my dog here. This is Rue. She's my co-host. She's a big Rock fan, even though in Hollywood and not in Hollywood. This is a big Dwayne Johnson fan. You love Dwayne Johnson, don't you? Yes, you do, baby. I love you. Maybe this whole, and now I'm talking wrestling talk, maybe this whole John Cena being a heel, or John Cena being a movie star, maybe Rock opened those doors for John, and John has already sold his soul years ago. But now Rock wants his comeuppance, right? Let's think about it too. Cody is the only thorn that is still in Rock's side. Let's think about it, okay? Because I would say almost that Stone Cold is, but they had 3 matches at WrestleMania that I call their trilogy, right? And Rock won their last one, so he closed the book on it, right? Technically, we're talking wrestling talk. Technically, he closed the book on it. The only person that he hasn't gotten a comeuppance on is Cody Rhodes, because he did pin Cody the first night at WrestleMania, but the second night, Cody made the entire bloodline look like fools and win the world title. And now Cody is telling him, no, I'm not interested. I'm not going to say the words that Cody said, right? But Cody's like, I'm not interested. But John Cena got all these doors opened up for him after he left wrestling, right? And maybe we're going to find out that, I don't know, he sold his soul to The Rock a long, long time ago. I love it. I do love it. These talks and playing video games and talking wrestling, I'm going to I don't like to do wrestling bashing, right? I don't like it, right? I don't like the fact that we're in this new era of everything specific. I'm only talking pro wrestling, but we got to hate everything that comes to us that are good. There are things I like about pro wrestling. There are things that I don't like about pro wrestling. I've always been a WWF, WWE guy. I was also a big ECW guy, but I bleed AEW quite a bit, right, too. So you're not going to hear a lot of bashing from me here. I will tell you if I liked it. I will tell you if I don't like it, right? But what I do like about this road to WrestleMania and the things that Triple H has done is throw us these curveballs that we didn't even know we wanted, right? Like, think about, nobody saw this coming. I don't care if everyone that said I saw it coming are all the people that will always say John Cena should turn heel. They should be saying it for 2 decades, right? Those are the people that are going to say, I knew this was coming. Yeah, you knew it was coming because you said it every month for 2 decades that John Cena should turn heel, or I bet John Cena's going to turn heel. The truth of the matter, nobody saw it was coming because he announced that he was going into retirement, right? This is his final run, right? Who turns heel in their retirement tour, right? Like who does that, right? This, the Rolling Stones went on a retirement tour. I mean, one of their 150 retirement tours, but at the beginning of their first retirement tour, they didn't started off with telling the fans to go F themselves, right? Right? This is going to be a great ride, and I love the fact that we're thinking outside the box on specifically The Rock turning heel and The Rock being heel, right? I'm going to very much try to hate John Cena going into this, right? But I do find it's funny on a personal level that I have hated John Cena for 2 decades, and finally at the exact moment that I'm like, okay, no, I'm going to cheer for John Cena, he is now a heel. Maybe I'm the one that was late to the party, but I commend, right? And you can bash me if you want for being a WWE thumper, but the fact of the matter is Triple H is the number 1 booker in the country, in the world right now, right? And specifically this year, but he keeps on throwing us curveballs, like Io Sky won the women's championship, the Raw World Women's Championship on Raw this week, and I thought for sure it was going to be Bianca and Rhea Ripley at Mania. What an unbelievable, let's think outside the box. Let's keep on playing this. Let's keep on, let's stay positive, right? Because I want to do that as a positive person. I'm not saying that everybody on my show is always going to be positive about pro wrestling and things like that, but let's try to stay positive. Let's try to keep going with it. I would like to reiterate, though, like, it feels good when you actually hate a heel, right? It does. It feels good when you actually hate a heel. I used to say to my friends when Miz won the world title and he was at the top and I was kind of into the Miz, and my friends hated him. And, they would be like, I hate that he does this. I hate that he does this. I hate that he does this. I go, well, okay, then he did his job in every aspect then. He's a heel. That's what you're supposed to do, right? And I will be the first to say that The Rock, John Cena, they got me, right? They definitely got me because I was getting sick of The Rock. And now I'm at the point where it's like, wow, you were playing the heel and you got me. Somebody that is supposedly supposed to be a wrestling fan for 30 years, right? Knows everything about wrestling, knows all this stuff. And, Dwayne got me. So kudos to you. I hope you guys enjoy the show. Usually the topics that we're going to talk about many different topics. I'm only going to stream and talk about wrestling. We're going to stream different video games and talk about wrestling, but only with wrestling people. We're going to talk about other topics on our show. I think on my show, on our show. Let's do it. Let's be a little less egotistical, Jack. Okay, on our show, and also my French Bulldog show, my Chihuahua. You met my Chihuahua Roo, who you guys will know. You will definitely meet Gumbo at some point, but who is my French bulldog. But yeah, we're gonna try to stay positive. There's too much of it in the world, that there's too much bashing. I can't promise you I'm always gonna stay positive, but I'm gonna try to. Um, yeah, that's it. That's it. I will probably come with you at the wrestling news a little bit later. It is going to be a little bit wrestling centric, probably my show, but we're going to talk about a lot of different things. So you can follow me at my social medias on YouTube at Save Us JTC, on Twitch Save Us JTC. You can also follow me on Instagram at King JTC. You can follow me on Twitter at RealJTC. I probably should clean all these up so they're all they're all the same username. You can also follow my French Bulldog on Instagram at the Childish Gambino. If you're gonna follow one thing, I would prefer you follow my French Bulldog because he's a lot cuter, he's a lot funnier, and everybody likes him a lot more. Thanks, guys. We'll talk soon.